everybody, it is Tegan here again today, and for this video I am going to be doing the reader problems tag, and this is a very old tag, but it sounds really fun, and I've seen a lot of people do it, and I don't know, it just seems really fun and I really like all the questions. So yeah, there are 11 questions in the tag, and so I'm just gonna get right into it and share with you guys what I would do if some of these problems occurred to me. Question number 1 is, you have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? And I have got close to about 20,000 books on my TBR. I do have a lot of books on my TBR. I like having lots of books to be able to choose from reading, but I have a lot of books I have not read that I own and ones that I want to own but I don't yet, but I still want to read. Majority of the time I sort of just reach for the book that seems like I will enjoy it the most at that current point in time. So I don't really have like a general matrix for deciding on what book I'm going to read next. I sort of just pick up a book that I think I'm going to enjoy. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me how long the books have been on my shelves for. All that really matters to me is if I'm going to be enjoying it at that point in time. So I can read a book that I got a week ago before I read a book that I got a year ago. It really just matters on how I'm feeling at that current moment in time. But if I did have 20,000 books on my TBR, that many, I think I would crumble and die, because that is a lot of books that I would need to read. Question number 2 is, you are halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? I am committed. I have problems with not finishing books. Even if I don't finish it at that current point in time, I need to finish it at some point. So for me, with Adrift by Paul Griffin, I believe is the author's name, I despise that book. I got it as an ARC and I really don't like it. Yeah, it's not very good. And I read about half of it and my bookmark is still in the book, and I will be needing to go back and finish it at some point, because I don't know what it is. If I start a book, I can't not finish it. I need to finish that book. So yeah, so I will definitely finish the book. If not at that current point in time, I will finish it at some point. But most of the time I will power through it and just read it until the end. Question number 3 is, the end of the year is coming and you're so close but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try to catch up, and how? I will definitely try to catch up. Last year I was at the very end and my goal was 50 books, which I did end up reaching, which I was happy about. And in the last day I was literally at 47 books, I believe, and it was the day before the end of Goodreads reading challenge, and I was like, oh my god, I need to read all these books. So basically what I ended up doing, if you can see these books up on the top shelf up there, they are all sort of kids books, I guess. I've got Ginny B. Jones and Katie Kazoo and Boxcar Children books up there and books like that, and so I basically just picked up 3 of those and just read them really fast so I could get to my reading goal. I will definitely do anything that I can to get to it. If I set a goal for myself, then I really feel the need to finish that goal, and so I always am trying to finish up my reading challenges, and yeah, I like it when I reach that goal. So I will definitely try and finish it. I most likely will not give up, especially because the end of the year is during vacation, holidays, off of school, and so I don't have to worry about school and stuff, so I can just sit down and read and be like, okay, I have to finish 3 books before the end of this year. Go. Question number 4 is, the covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? And the answer is, I don't. If you haven't been able to tell, or I'm not sure if I've mentioned it, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it before, my Harry Potter books, I've got the first 4 in paperback and the last 3 in hardback, and although they are the same covers, they are not the same edition, not the same type, and it kills me inside every single day, but they're like the first ones I got, so like I sort of have to keep them, but then I really want to get like just a hardback set so I can have them all in hardback, but money and yeah, I don't cope very well with that, which is why if I buy a book in paperback, then I have to get the paperback edition for the rest of the series. If I get a book in hardback, then I have to get a hardback book for the rest of the series. Or like when people change covers halfway through the series, that kills me. Like publishers have to know, like they must know that us readers, we do not like our covers changed halfway through the series. Like they should know that we want all of our series to match so that they will look nice on the shelves. Question number 5 is everyone and their mother loves a book you really don't like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? Goodreads, Twitter, the internet. This has happened to me a few times where I just really didn't like a book and everybody was so over the moon about this book. Like they're like, oh my god, this book is so amazing. I was like, was it though? Was it really? None of them like jump into my mind right now, like none that I can think of, but I don't know, I just I'll go on the internet, I'll talk to people on the internet, obviously over on like Goodreads or Twitter or BookTube or just somewhere on the internet, somebody is going to have the same feelings as I do about the book, and so I'll just go onto the internet and try and find somebody, and I normally end up finding somebody in the end. Question number 6 is you're reading a book and you are about to start crying in public. How do you deal? I don't. I've said that a lot for all these questions, but I don't deal very well. I will just start crying. Books get me, like, I normally don't read out in public. I just don't, but if I am and a really sad part comes up, I will, like, try to contain my emotions as much as I possibly can, but normally it does not work. But luckily I am mostly at home when I am reading, and so like during Fault in Our Stars, I cried at home. During Allegiant, I cried. Tears. But if I was out in public, I just wouldn't deal. It would just happen. Just tears. Just all the tears. Question number 7 is a sequel of a book you loved just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book, skip the sequel, try to find a synopsis on Goodreads, cry in frustration? It really depends on what the series is. So if it's a series that I'm like really, really, really excited about, then I will most likely read the prior books in the series. If it's like the 4th book in the series, then I might just read the last book, like the book before this one. So if it's the 4th book in the series, then I'll read the 3rd book. But if it's a series that I really, really like and a new book's coming out, I will most likely just reread the entire series. However, if it's a series where I'm like, oh, I'm really excited for the 2nd book, I really want to read it, like, but it's not like one of my top priorities, or I have a lot of other books I need to get to, I will normally just look up the summary or try and get a brief synopsis from the book, or just go on Goodreads, read the summary, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that this happened, and I'll just go from there. Most of the time I will reread the books prior in the series. For example, when the Divergent trilogy was coming out, I reread Divergent when Insurgent came out, and I reread Divergent and Insurgent when Allegiant came out. I will most likely reread the previous books in this series. Question number 8 is you do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people nope when they ask? I don't let people borrow my books because I like my books being in pristine condition, and so most of the time I won't even let family members borrow my books just because I don't want them to get ruined. But most of the time what I will do is if somebody asks me if they can borrow my book, I'll be like, yeah, but you can't eat around it, you can't like bend the pages, you have to be super, super careful with it, you have to do all these things, and most of the time they're scared out of borrowing it, but sometimes I'll just be like, yeah, no, they're mine. These are my beauties. I love them. I love them so much, and I don't want anything to happen to them. So yeah, I will mostly just politely tell them no, or I'll like tell them all my rules for it, and then they get scared off, and all is good in the world. Question number 9 is reading ADD. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. how do you get over your reading slump? This is actually a very relevant question to me because if you have seen my last few videos, then you would know I've been in a very, very, very big reading slump. Most of the time, if I've already tried reading multiple books and nothing is working for me, I'll normally just take a break from reading for a little bit, go and watch Netflix, some YouTube, and then normally I will get that urge to start reading again, and I will just do so, and that's how it normally helps for me. And I actually did do a blog post on reading slumps a while back, and I'll leave that link down below if you guys want to go and check out how I get over my reading slumps. But if I've already tried like picking up books, reading them, and they're just not interesting me, or I just don't want to read anything at that moment, then I normally just won't, and I'll just try to do something else, and then normally the reading urge will just come back to me naturally. Question number 10 is, there are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? All of them? I'll buy all of them. Is that a problem? Should I not buy all of them? If I want to read the book, then I'm going to read the book. Like, if I'm dying to read it, then I will pick it up. That's why I have a book buying problem, because I just buy every single book. Every single book. See, this is only one of my bookshelves. I have a bookshelf on the opposite side of my room, and I have also just got books lying around my room, like not in stacks and stuff. They're not just like on the floor everywhere, but I've got them like around my room because I don't have any room on my bookshelves anymore, and I need to get a third bookshelf. So obviously I have a book buying problem, and that's just that's just that. I'll just buy them all. They will all end up on my shelves at one point or another. And finally, question number 11 is, after you've bought the new books you can't wait to get to, how long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? And it really, really, really depends, because I buy a book and I'm super, super, super excited about getting to it and reading it, and then I don't actually get to it for another couple of months. And you'll notice that in like my book hauls, I'll be like, oh my god, I'm so excited to get to this book, I need to read it now, and then it's not actually in my TBR until a few months after that. And that's just because I have so many books I need to read that book just doesn't, like, I don't know, there's just so many other books I have to read. And I mean, it really, really, really depends on what the book is. So if it's a book I have been waiting for forever and I'm really, really, really excited about it, then I'll read it on the way home from the bookstore. Like, I have no problems with doing that. But then if it's a book that I'm like, oh yeah, this book sounds like really, really good, I'm really excited to read it, then it may sit on my shelf for a really long time. Like Eon, for example, that's been sitting on my shelf for a few years, and I am still very, very excited to read it, and I was very, very excited to read it when I got it. It's just still sitting on my shelf. And the majority of the books on this shelf here, I've read some of them, but then most of them I have not read, and they are all books that I want to get to so bad. They're all books that have been sitting on my shelf for a little bit, but I just haven't gotten the chance to read them. So I guess it depends on how I'm feeling in that moment and how excited I am to read the book. So yes, that is it for this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'm not actually going to tag anybody because this is a very old tag and I'm not sure who's done it or not, and so I'm not going to be tagging anyone. But if any of you guys watching this have not done this tag yet, then please feel free to do the tag and leave your video in the comments down below, because I would love to watch them. I want to know what all of your guys' answers are to these questions, and you can also leave down in the comments how you guys pick the next book that you're going to read off of your TBR. I would love to know. You can give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I would really appreciate that. And you can click that red subscribe button down below if you want to be told when I make a new video. I'm Tegan, this is Bookwormia, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Hello there everybody, it is Tegan here again today, and for this video I am going to be reacting to the new Good Charlotte song, which is called Life